could really see it out. So, like just recently, we celebrate the 90th anniversary of the Buckley Uprising. Much of that don't even impact, even though it's interned into the curriculum, it don't impact to the school genesis. So, seeing that in not just but the Buckley Uprising is there, that other things have been informative too. We as people could rely to guide our young ones them, where we can stand out as a people shining a beacon of hope for our future generation. Because when I went to the school this morning, Josh Owen Primary School, it's hard taken to see they have a school that's supposed to be of their learning, but they are not in the school itself. They are on a level of a different educational utilized ground, which is not facilitating their emphasis where they want to really express their education properly. Now, we are calling on the education system to find ways, to restructure that school, that the children them can return to the basic of the way they can emphasize more of the teaching. And so you ask, Jojan, Devon, how can we use this here to get our young ones them get appreciated too of the African heritage? There's a lot of ways we can do. There's ways we utilize the same thing that we are using as they call technology. There's better ways, break it into format that these children who are using this technology, I don't have Instagram and them other thing where the social media phrases go within. But we have them using. So let us bring these things in a pattern now to safeguard for our generation so they can able to have a level of what we do. You see?
All right. Thank you so much for that. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation here on The Edge.
Carnival, the biggest and realest juve. Ready for traditional mass. Ready for pageantry. Ready for fete after fete. Get ready for costumes and parades. And exhilarating bouillon music. Yes, baby. January 18th to March 4th. Immerse yourself in the spirit of the real mass. Immerse yourself in the spirit of Dominica's Carnival 2025.
Hey, guess what? It's Radio Market.
Call in and sell your merchandise. You can negotiate, give away and trade.
We on radio, internet and TV.
Like us, share us and subscribe to
ZIZonline.com.
And remember, we don't sell nothing over $5,000. Join us every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock right here on ZIZ Radio. Call 465-6120, 465-1903, 662-8674 or 718-577-2916. ZIZ Radio, giving back to the people.
Welcome back to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius, and thank you for joining me in the program for today. I'm here with Ras Aya of the Higher Heights Movement.
Nyabingi Theocracy Order / Higher Heights Movement.
So, Nyabingi Theocracy Order / the Higher Heights Movement, because you guys are working in collaboration for the week of activities. All right. So we've looked at the movement and the African Black history, and we're now looking at the activities. So I see the visit to the visit to the grave sites of fallen Nyabingi brethren and sistren.
Mm-hmm.
I would say this is deeply symbolic. What message does this act send to the community and the younger generation? And I think this is scheduled for tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, well, one of the things I would like to assert is that we have to, as our team outline, we are our ancestors. So even though once who paved the passage for I and I as where we are today, and they are not with us physically, we must always have homage to them, pay respect and honor to what they have done in their time of the physical attribution to this world affairs. So we can't deny of the ones them who open up the doors for I and I to not make them be acknowledged, even though they're not physical with I and I. We pay that gesture of love and gratitude of their care that they have been to I and I. So we will do that there in the grounds of going to the graveside, lay a flag and make up the bed of the graveside. They have some will be tomb and some will not be tomb, but I and I most importantly will acknowledge the attribution of them being a part of Rastafari, in the Nyabingi Tiakosiada and of the Rastafari community, because even some of them is not of Nyabingi, but they play a critical role in the Rastafari faith. So and I will do this here as gesture of the support that they have done in their time as a physical being.
And this is happening tomorrow from 9 a.m. Which cemetery?
We venture from Sandy Point area located in the two. You have Downing Street and the new cemetery that I've just highlighted up at above the farms estate. That's just behind of the community center in Sandy Point, and then we venture from there before they go up on the up in the Clever Hill area. They have another cemetery there up that side there. And I will venture from there to the Challengers area, just on the outskirts of where they call Trinity, where the Anglican Church, we have a virgin have been laid there in that area of the community of that cemetery. And then I will venture into Bastia and do our one of them in the Bastia area, and then we venture over into Kayan to pay homage to our virgin Ras Ibu, who was the last one who had seen laid to rest over in Kayan last year, and it will be coming up a year from now to be his part of the transition.
And I see that you're having, you're also distributing food hampers in St. Kitts and Nevis. Tell us about that and the idea behind of it.
Well, from my inception of being a part of the Nyabingi Tiakosiada, I've seen our Virgin and Sister have made this move in giving back to the community, as they always say, charity begins at home. So I have seen the great works and venture of giving to those who in need and the elderly. So he play a part in, after I say, the food hamper distribution is a level of support to those who don't have it as a financial strength to go and buy what they would like to see in their little hand to provide in the needs of eating. And so that is why I is providing as a way within vegetable produce. And then alongside with some peas, alongside with some toilet paper, a little way of helping out in the little cost that they can ease from their economical burden.
Any specific areas in St. Kitts and in Nevis?
We got island-wide. We are basically looking at the island-wide because we don't want to have it like we selective. We'll just be respectful to the ones in need and the elderly that we can find. And even if we use that the elderly, we are even impacting like Rastafari, Virgin and Sister, who have that urge to get a support when it's really needed.
All right. So this is the food hampers distribution in St. Kitts Island-wide for the elderly and the needy. And this is Wednesday the 26th from 1 p.m. in St. Kitts and Thursday the 27th. 1 p.m. as well in
Nevis.
The donation of African history books to a school in Nevis. How important is this for schools? So you're donating the book to a school in Nevis. But how important is it to schools, let's say, across the Federation and in the region to teach African history?
Well, as I stated earlier, that it's better to have us as a people reflecting on the contribution of our ancestors' struggle, and not just looking at it from a slavery aspect. We're looking at it from before and beyond slavery, because when you look at the early instance of our people in the ancient of Africa and even in St. Kitts, we have done a great mass to build and develop our region as a people. So let's look at draw a point into the Binston Hill. Who can really verify that without Africans, that structure could have stand where it's standing today and being a hallmark as a national heritage site? So that in itself shows you that we have a great mind, but we don't want to acknowledge the ones them who make great contribution of those development. But we acknowledge people who of others to say this is what they done. But just to say that it is very important and this venture to have books of our African contribution to education, because education is a weapon that can be used for the well-being of sharpening the mind. Either outlined to the children of the Joshua Obiboyan Primary School, will adopt Joshua Obiboyan William Primary School, is that the best way of our people to help one another is to, even though you have an education aiming to take that education and dominate another, is to take it and emphasize in strengthening the other, so where you can build for the betterment of one another. Because in that essence now, you will able to see a change for the betterment of the future generation. Once we use education the best way. You got a lot of people who have education and they use it to create wars and rumors of war. We don't want that kind of education. We look at education that can bring safety net to all have development of harmony, love, and respect to our universe.
Do you feel there has been like a resistance in the region to embracing our story and embracing African history, not just in schools, but generally?
As I would like to say, in the early 60s, we had a notion for black consciousness. And when we look at to now in the 20th century, we find much of it have been derived, but there are a reawakening of our African heritage that aligns for us to be as a people, really reflecting of this struggle and the great sacrifice that made for us as a people now to reap some reward and benefits. And we are not really inclined to stand out as a people, as Marcus Garvey said, as those who lack of the knowledge will be able to repeat as a doom. So we don't want to have lack of knowledge for our future generation. We want them to have a sense of pride and dignity to stand where they can show love with their foreparents them and say, we have seen a great light and we are ready to shine a brighter light for our future generation.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. It's 11:22 and you're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. So just briefly going through the activities. So on Sunday, I noted that you guys held or were there in support of the Gideon Force Farm Kaya Festival. That was from 2 p.m. Mm-hmm. This is an annual thing that you guys support?
Well, as a member of the Naibingi and we are in cooperation with the organization of Rastafari Unity, which is an umbrella organization that impact for Rastafari between both Sinkis and Nevis. In the gradually where we saw and the Tidlawadi House of David and they are members of the part of the organization. So when we see a fellow virgin of organization have holding an event and I come and give a supportive part of that aspect, we do. So in that in venture we say it make no sense. We have two event separating away. Just let us make it be one supportive to have that event come after a success. So that's why we venture into the Old Road area and be part of the support to the Kaya Market Festival Organic. And it was a very interactive, educational and formative way of showing where we can see herb being displayed. We see food market vendors was there and people of their own creative hand to make natural things and be produced by their own things that come out of these natural, healthy things that are part of our well-being when it comes to illness and pain that can be safeguarded by these same rub, even of the oil, even of the cream. So, and we have people who have created even the food into a candy shape to be a venture of natural eating.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. It's 11:24 and you're listening to The Edge here in ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. Let's just go through the activities quickly and then we'll take a break. So Monday today at 8:30, there was a presentation at the Joshua Obadiah Williams Primary School, and that was about it was a lecture.
Yeah,
it was a lecture. Then tomorrow, Tuesday, gravesite visit of fallen Nyabingi brethren and sistren of the Rastafari community. On Wednesday, food hampers distribution in St. Kitts Island-wide for the elderly and the needy, and this is from 1 p.m. Thursday, food hampers distribution in Nevis, that is also island-wide, and this is also from 1 p.m. On Friday, there will be donation of books of African Eye Story towards the Ivor Walters Primary School in Nevis, and this is from 8:30 a.m. during the assembly time. And then to end the activities, which is on Saturday, March 1st, they'll be having a chanting and reasoning and the reflection of our ancestors' return at Sunset. That's a restaurant?
Yes. No, the Sunset meaning in the dawn.
Okay.
that's how we...
Sunset in Westbury, Nevis. That's the restaurant in Nevis, in Sunset. All right, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation here on The Edge. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Jeff, you leaving already, boss? You sure you could drive after them drinks?
Yeah, I could handle it, And if they far from here, I'm gonna take me time.
Oh my God! Jeff, you're gone! I told you not to drink and drive!
The problem with drinking and driving is the morning after. Drink responsibly.
This message was brought to you by the St. Kitts Nevis National Council on Drug Abuse Prevention in collaboration with SKNIS.
Get ready to ignite your Tuesday nights with a show that's as educational as it is entertaining. Welcome to Pleasure Pulse, your weekly guide to the world of sex education. Join Roma every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. exclusively on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. It's the perfect way to spice up your midweek routine and get answers to all your burning questions. Whether you're looking for relationship advice or curious about the art of intimacy, Roma's got you covered. Pleasure Pulse, every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. only on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. Don't miss out. Your sex education journey starts this Tuesday with Roma as your guide.
Who are doing this? We have to watch this carefully because how are they going to control this? How are they going to suppress this? It'll be a major threat.
Welcome back to The Edge on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I am Devonne Cornelius, your host, and thank you for joining me in the program for today, Monday, February 24th, 2025. February is Black History Month. We're not just, in our schools and generally in places in our community, we celebrate Black History Month. We highlight the importance of Black History Month, and for me, I believe, while yes, we acknowledge the month as a time to celebrate the meaning of Black history, I also believe that it is important for us to celebrate Black history every day. In our actions, in the things we do, and the things we say, and all of that. For those of you who are just tuning in, I am in studio with Ras Aya, and we're talking about the African Black history and a week of activities with the Nyabingi Theocracy Order in collaboration / Higher Heights movement. Now, looking at Rastafari identity, the Rastafari movement has always been about reclaiming identity and resisting oppression. In today's world, how does the movement continue that mission?
being yourself. That's the first important factor that the movement is, I think. Now, there's other avenues now, the indication that outline how do the movement, I think, is that we have able to see enough youths in its own peers that have been insisting in Rastafari. So it is now to guide our young ones, them as Rastafari, of the ones them who play the part of the world in the early Rastafari movement, to respect that elements of the struggle that they have brought to that ashore. Like let me look at in the early 70s, we could not be even here seen on as a Rastafari speaking on the radio. We were discarded. We were dispute against the society, because we say basically the term that what the society of whole is not the value of I and I other people. So in this time now we have seen now I and I have been able to now insert and bring more unaware that we can value things different within how we have seen. We say the fire is cooling or the fire is still hot, because we have to burn the evil force of Babylon. And our outlining now is to bring emphasis of educational method that we can be a part of the structure of what society is applying. And to see when we utilize the educational format, and I now seeing that we have been doing great contribution of the Rastafari, not just from a Nyabingi standpoint, from a Rastafari standpoint. Now we are indicating now not just a group, but as individual too, where Rastafari have made great strive to bring awareness to our people. And he's still doing to make the awareness to our people be assured of who we are and where we come and where we're going. That's why we can discard the elders, and the elders, them are the four corners of it, and I have able to shine out in Rastafari, because they live the faith, they hold the faith, and they stand by the faith. We might see much of them on the ground, and when we look at the level of how we are impacting to our elders, we must have respect and tolerance to our elders. In all elders will be what I and I be of a Nyabingi, but they have Rastafari, so we have to show credence and respect to the Rastafari elders wherever we show.
What role does African spirituality play in fostering a deeper connection to history and cultural identity?
One of the vacuum of what African spirituality plays, the connection of I and identity, spirituality in its forefront. And once we align that spiritual awareness, we as a people will able to have that reconnection to our whereabouts of African people, not just being in Africa to identify ourselves being Africa. As a quote coming from one of the pioneers of the African Union, or the Organization of African Unity, what is now called the AU, as African Union, as we know him as Kwame Nkrumah, he have able to state in his plea that I don't have to born in Africa to be an African. Imagine a president of Ghana is stating this. Africa is born inside of me. So that in itself outline that we are the people who are out in the diaspora. We have to in tune with our African spirituality, to our consciousness and awareness to who we are. In everything we can quote in all where that will bring for what, but we will able to dissect ourselves in how to apply our African spiritual aspect of who we are and where as a people we can shoulder the responsibility of guiding these affairs and the nation development.
And I mean, there's often a disconnect between mainstream society and Rastafari communities, where we feel like we're separated. How do initiatives like the Black History Week of Activities help to bridge that gap? So when you're going out in terms of the food hamper distribution in the schools, apart from that, how are you helping to bridge the gap between the Rastafari community and the community?
And one of the things we must be able to look at is not to look for praises. We must look for respect to one another. Because the most valuable aspect is to show how we could stabilize and develop the betterment for our future of our youth. In the sense of the wider gap about the community within as the society, I realize it still have a lot of stigma around. Even though some have been described, but it still have a lot. But we are not going to give in because there is a stigma. We have to work for the well-being of our future. And the only thing that I can able to look at is to work for the cooperation within one and one. We might not like one another, but we must have respect for one another. Mm-hmm. And that's the virtue of how we can able to mold and shape for a betterment of where we can be for our people. Now, as I would like to look out here in our society, we take this initiative as a part of giving back to the community, and it's not to say, is our Rastafari nation is doing something to venture for the upliftment of African heritage, because in that one code you ask, how can we impact include African culture into as our people? Now, we as the African are inserting that because we identify where we're coming from within fighting against colonialism, oppression. And these are the venture of who, as I and I, as a people, must shape to develop a better core than what we face.
Mm-hmm. There's some, and even as we talked about the activities such as the African Black History Week of activities, there have been activities like these in the past, because I think this is on an annual basis. On an annual basis. Do you feel as though over the years you've seen improvements in building a stronger relationship with the community?
Not that much yet, but in the early years there was a more cooperative in the aspect, because so in them days you see love. Love was shining, and I'm not going to be trying to sugarcoat none. There was love shining. Mm-hmm. At this time now, we ain't seeing much of that. Well, in the impact, Rastafari is about love. Now we have a lot of inserts that Rastafari in itself have been to popularize as a way of being like commercialized. We're not looking for commercialized. Rastafari is looking to keep his identity as a spiritual element, because that's the in turn of what we have seen. But there are people who are looking for commercial life because they feel like we're supposed to have some kind of economical gain. Yes, the value of economic is good. He might speak about spiritual and material progress go hand in hand. But he used the term when conflict arises, which is the greatest source of your intuitions. You must able to have your conscience be your guide. Who much of our people now into this day of the 20th century have reflect to see the conscience be the guide of what we're seeing when conflict arises. Mm-hmm. A lot of our people don't want to reflect on those kind of things. Yeah. We try to see we could dominate another instead of try to work out the well-being so we don't have these things patterns down on the next generation. Mm-hmm. And this is how we're unable to work for the betterment of our people. Put away the petty differences and let us rise in the way of bringing us awareness to one another so we can strengthen and bring a betterment for the future of our youth.
It's 11:38. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we can open the phone lines and take your calls at 662-8674. The number is 662-8674. Call us and lend your voice to the conversation at hand. We'll take this break. Stay with us.
What did you mean earlier about climate change, Mom?
Well, when I was your age, I remember beautiful coral reefs and healthy beaches. The summers weren't as hot as they are right now, and the rainy season meant that it only rained when it was supposed to.
And then what happened?
The weather just started to change, and storms got worse. Coral reefs started to die because the ocean was getting too warm, and crops started to die because there was not much rain. You know, we realized as adults that we were doing something that was causing this.
What were you all doing?
same thing we're doing now, not using clean, renewable energy, chopping down too many trees, and even polluting the air with gases, such as the gases emitted from our cars when we drive around.
We need some help before it's too late, Mom. We can't let it get worse. What can I do? We can raise our voices.
With 35 million dreams, aspirations, and futures at risk in Cari Forum, we need your voice in our story against climate change. Acknowledge, commit, act. This message is brought to you by the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center under the Intra-ACP Global Climate Change Alliance Plus program and is funded by the European Union.
It's 11:40 and you're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I am Devonne Cornelius and thank you for joining me on the program for today, Monday, February 24th, 2025. If you're just joining the conversation, in studio with me today is Ras Aya, and we're speaking on the African Black History Week of activities by the Nyabinghi Theocracy Order and the Higher Heights movements. And it is a week of activities running from yesterday Sunday, to this coming Saturday, which is March 1st. And you will realize that the week of activities are community focused, going into the community, such as food hamper distributions, going out to the schools and basically engaging with and meeting members of the community. Now, looking at reflection and legacy, and as we begin to, I think we have a call on the line. So let's take out this call. Okay, we seem to have lost that one. Please, the phone lines are open. Call us at 662-8674. We have a caller. Hello, caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Greetings. Thanks for taking our call. This one catch the other. Okay, we are here listening to the reason. Thanks for the same, I will be changing fallen, that word song, fallen, and replacing that word song with an appropriate word, because there's nothing, falling is when something fall, it goes down. And there's nothing down about ones and ones who stand firm in the transformation for black redemption. We are our ancestors, and once it's all about the cause with no death. That is really an illusion that is concerned, One just translates, we just transition, we just like to, as soon as we will change it, that word for it. Concerning the giving, humbly, word song, to answer, giving to the needs. We'll be doing that even I more, and letting I speak much louder than words, which means we have to power a nation looking forward to this point where we give without even uttering of it, Yeah, because that is the balance that the previous Magic spoke about. Starting within our midst and extending it to the nation. Humanity, even. Two words we have to speaking of Rastafari as a nation, when it comes to the upping of identity amongst our people, and I remain from that era, from the inception of Rastafari, in Jamaica, or they say on the continent, the fight was there from them, and it's just moved with us. They took us and scattered us. And I have been claiming identity that is one. We don't see ourselves as, and I don't see myself as West Indians, Christians, and Nigerians, and Antiguans, and Jamaicans, etc., etc. Those things, those that are elusive nationalities. We tenaciously embrace one identity. We are an African people. And that is so up to the time 2025 according to the Western development culture. From them times, we claim that, tenaciously embrace that. Agitation against down oppression, as we like to say, not oppression. There's nothing up about it. Down oppression, it continues, up to the time Rastafari just make sure within our midst, as we hear the highest himself within our midst, we also keep the fire against the oppressors unquenchable.
Right.
That's why the chant Mayabindi actually meaning death, destruction to black and white down oppressors. So we keep it like that up to the time, and looking forward to keep it like that continually, because the naked truth be told, it's a mission, it's a prophetic mission, because every African is Rastafari within that same identity, because Rastafari comes from an African who is worthy to be hailed, whose name was Rastafari. So it's really a nation building, the resurrection, the whole coming together, the sealing up of black redemption. That the singer sing about, and keeps and we still hear the song they sing. That's why we don't love the word for them,
All right, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution. Let's take this other call. 662-8674. 662-8674. Okay, I think we may have lost that caller. It's 11:47, and you're listening to The Edge here in ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. The phone lines remain open at 662-8674. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Hello, caller. Okay, we lost that one. 662-8674. If you're just tuning in, with me today is Ras Aya, and we're speaking on Black History and the Week of Activities. Hello, caller. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. There was young Ras Aya. I thought the rest we would just on if we ain't going to finish, that somebody get a little towards.
All right, Carter, thank you for your contribution to the program. 11:48, and you're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up the conversation for today.
Carnival, the biggest and realest troupe. Ready for traditional mass. Ready for pageantry. Ready for fete after fete. Get ready for costumes and parades. And exhilarating bouillon music. Yes, baby. January 18th to March 4th. Immerse yourself in the spirit of the real mass. Immerse yourself in the spirit of Dominica's Carnival 2025.
Get ready to ignite your Tuesday nights with a show that's as educational as it is entertaining. Welcome to Pleasure Pulse, your weekly guide to the world of sex education. Join Roma every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. exclusively on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. It's the perfect way to spice up your midweek routine and get answers to all your burning questions. Whether you're looking for relationship advice or curious about the art of intimacy, Roma's got you covered. Pleasure Pulse, every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. only on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. Don't miss out. Your sex education journey starts this Tuesday with Roma as your guide.
But Jeff, you leaving already, boss? You sure you could drive after them drinks?
Yeah, I could handle it, yeah. Ain't it too far from here. I'm gonna take me time.
Oh my God! Jeff, you're gone! I told you not to drink and drive!
The problem with drinking and driving is the morning after. Drink responsibly.
This message was brought to you by the St. Kitts Nevis National Council on Drug Abuse Prevention in collaboration with SKNIS.
to 8674. Looking at reflection and legacy. When you reflect on the struggles and victories of black people globally, what lessons stand out the most?
Haiti Revolution. 1804 was an impactful message to the colonizers of the Haiti victory against Napoleon Bonaparte. And when we look at these things, these are things that are methods that bring out a spiritual togetherness of the people, reflecting on how they can remove these colonial powers. And it's something that outlines the togetherness, the unison of a people, raging for a different avenues for development amongst their peers and amongst the people that they are striving for in bettering their lifestyle. Now, let me just look at Malcolm X was assassinated the 21st of February 1964. Just the other day was the 21st of February, and there was a remembrance of Malcolm X and his great nationalist stand and his Pan-Africanist movement he have applied. Malcolm X was a man, even though he was a Muslim by faith, he stand as an African within his store of uniting African people. Now, Marcus Garvey were just in the same light as how Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, and even though we come down here, we have Marcus King of the World, even have, as we have Bette Douglas. A lot of people don't even know of these people who have done great in our shows during the colonial eras, who stand out in their emphasis of not being a slave, but able to be a human being standing for dignity and rights and integrity. Now, we find these are reflections that we should be able to enhance as a people. Where can we impact these things here to the generation so they can able to not really foster something that are not of them, but something that is define who they are as a people coming within the African heritage. So,
what message do you want the listeners to take away from African Black History Week and generally as we celebrate Black History Month?
Love thyself. The first thing is to love thyself. Once you love yourself, you will show the passion of who we are and what can be done for the well-being of our people. And not loving yourself meaning to be of only of you, but to be of impacting of others, to shine the light going forward. So the betterment of us as a people is to really have a scope of research and edify and being what we should be utilizing for the well-being of our youths them. Not bringing something that is not going to guide them in a pattern of where they shall be as a people. Now, we are saying, as the quote saying from the political stream, innovation, and they want to have sustainable development. But on the brighter light, we are not seeing much of the creation that will relate into that goal that is enhancing as a sustainable development. So we must be able to have better emphasis in how we're going to drive to create that sustainable development for the people and for our region, because it does not insisting on things and needs. For a regional approach, it will be better. But doing it at individual, we have a lot of challenges that we have to face. So it's better for us to cope together as a people working for not to create these challenges as a default of saying that we don't know how to move and manage things, but able to be edifying how to maneuver of these challenges. Because look at it now, we are in this place of saying that we're having inflation. When we look at some of the things, you see some of the people, when we go to some of the spending, we don't have it. So you find that some of the people we look into, well, we either create our kind of avenues that are not value. And when we say avenue, we know we're talking about activities that are not giving us something that could create a development. They give us something that have us in a despair. So we find ourselves in prison, or we find ourselves get killed. You see? So we don't want to see them kind of avenues. We want to see our people have something that can be related, that they can bring out the better in them and share it for the next ones amongst them.
All right, it's 11:57 and you have been listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. We're bringing the program to a close. Rasaya, thank you so much for joining me in the program.
Thanks a lot too. And I would just like to make a little quote from a word that was stated by Brother Honorable Marcus Garvey.
Sure.
The enemy of the colonization of Africa were led by very light-skinned Negroes under the leadership of Du Bois, because the black leadership and politicians and of those of the white race who want to discredit and imprison me to please their Negro politician wards and foreign powers try to make the plan unpopular and unsuccessful. And these are some of the things that we're watching and saying that Marcus Garvey don't need pardon, he need exoneration. And unless the people of America exonerate Marcus Garvey, you could keep your pardon, Biden. That's what I say. I'm not talking for general term. I'm talking of my term of respect to the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. Give thanks.
Awesome. You've been listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I've been your host, Devonne Cornelius, and thank you for joining me on the program for today. Until next time, you guys stay safe. Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same station. Coming up now is our midday newscast. Stay with us.
From the heart of ZIZ Radio comes a political talk show like no other. The Edge, with host Devonne Cornelius giving you his take on the biggest stories happening in governance today. Got something to say? Let's hear it. Give us a call at 869-465-2555, Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. One solid hour of in-depth analysis of the machinery that makes our country tick. The Edge, cutting into the matters at hand. You're listening to ZIZ Radio, the golden voice of the nation.
DPP confirms charges against Vaughn Henderson and police officer in ongoing investigation. Justice Anderson endorsed as new CCJ president. And Christian Democratic Union secures victory in Germany's national election. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Monday, February 24th, 2025. I'm your presenter, Shanique Harvey. Nationally. In the wake of Vaughn Henderson's arrest and the charges brought against him, Director of Public Prosecutions, or DPP, Adlai Smith, issued a statement on Monday confirming the arrest and providing limited details about the charges filed against Henderson, as well as a police officer who will remain unnamed due to the nature of the allegations.
The Director of Public Prosecutions Office acknowledges the recent developments where criminal charges have been brought against Mr. Vaughn Henderson, attorney at law, and a police officer of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force. That officer shall not be named, as he is currently on a charge of indecent assault before the High Court. These developments underscore the seriousness of any attempt to interfere with the judicial process, particularly in cases involving vulnerable victims such as minors.
In his statement, the DPP disclosed that the charges against the police officer involve allegations of indecent assault involving a minor. He noted that his office recommended that charges be filed and shared further context regarding the legal proceedings.
On June 28, 2023, a 12-year-old minor female reported that she was indecently assaulted by the said police officer, who allegedly offered her money in exchange for her silence. In December of 2023, the Commissioner of Police sought legal advice from me in my capacity as the Director of Public Prosecutions as to whether the police officer should be charged. Following a thorough review of the evidence, as Director of Public Prosecutions, I advised that charges be laid, and the police officer was formally charged in January of 2024. However, in the same January of 2024, I received intelligence suggesting possible external interference in the case. Given the gravity of the information, the Commissioner of Police was further advised to initiate a separate criminal investigation into the mother of the said minor. As the investigation unfolded, further intelligence was received, prompting law enforcement to execute a search warrant at the law offices of Mr. Vaughn Henderson on February 7, 2025. As a result of these findings, Vaughn Henderson and the police officer have been formally charged with attempting to pervert the course of public justice and money laundering offenses.
The DPP stressed that the filing of charges does not equate to guilt and underscored the importance of protecting the integrity of criminal cases, particularly those involving minors.
I must indicate that I view with the utmost seriousness any attempt to compromise a criminal case involving the indecent assault of a minor. The justice system has a fundamental duty to protect children from exploitation and abuse, and any efforts to manipulate the legal process to obstruct justice will be met with the full force of the law. Additionally, the public trust in law enforcement is built on the expectation that police officers will uphold the law with integrity and fairness.
Join our evening newscast for more information on this developing story. The St. Christopher Air and Seaport Authority Scaspa Deepwater Port reached a significant milestone on Sunday, February 23rd, offloading a record-breaking 312 vehicles in a single shipment. This achievement marks the largest shipment in the history of the port, reflecting its growing capacity. Cargo Operations Manager Kervin Freeman put the significance of the shipment into perspective.
We're here this morning, Sunday the 23rd February, because we have an exceptional operation here today, where today we'll be getting in a total of 312 vehicles. That's 312 vehicles. In my over 2 decades working here, we have never had that amount of vehicles coming at any one time. As a matter of fact, we have not even had half of that coming at any one time. So this is a big operation here. We have a lot of our staff here, people coming to help us from other departments, helping us to move the vehicles them from shipside to place of rest. As you can see behind of me, there's a lot of vehicles, and this is not even half yet of what is coming off. It's not even a quarter yet of what is coming off. And in this area, normally in this area, we have containers parked here. But for this operation today, we had to remove all the containers then from here so that we can get ample space to park all these vehicles. So yes, we are here today, and it's a lot of vehicles. 312 vehicles are coming to us today. And if you can see all over there, we have made space again. We have moved all the containers them. We have done with the park.
He said of the 312 vehicles, approximately 70 will be sent to Nevis. The successful offloading of such a large shipment is a key indicator of SCASPA's ability to handle increased demand as the port continues to grow and modernize. The St. Kitts Electricity Company Limited, or SCELEC, is advising the public of scheduled maintenance outages for the week Monday, February 24th to Thursday, February 27th. These scheduled maintenance outages are necessary to perform maintenance as part of their ongoing efforts to improve reliability. The following areas will be affected by the outages. On Tuesday, 25th February 2025, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., Upper Keon, Whites, and River Gut. Also on Tuesday between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m., Racecourse, Newton Ground. While on Wednesday 26th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., Half Moon, Old Bay Way Road will be without power. And on Thursday 27th between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m., Bird Rock, Suncrest, Paragon Heights. SCELEC apologizes for any inconvenience caused by these electricity supply interruptions. Persons who remain without power after the scheduled outages are asked to call 465-2013 or 600 from a mobile phone to report the outage. We move now to news on the regional scene. Caribbean Community or CARICOM leaders have approved the appointment of Jamaican-born Justice Winston Anderson as the new president of the Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ. Anderson's appointment follows the recommendation of the Regional Judicial and Legal Services Commission. The CCJ, established on February 14, 2001, replaced the London-based Privy Council as the region's highest judicial authority. While many CARICOM countries recognize the CCJ's original jurisdiction, which serves as an international tribunal interpreting the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, only 5 nations, Barbados, Belize, Dominica, Guyana, and St. Lucia, have adopted it as their final appellate court. Justice Anderson will succeed outgoing President Justice Adrian Saunders of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who is set to retire later this year. Anderson becomes the 4th president to lead the court. Caribbean American lawmakers have strongly criticized the Trump administration's decision to end the Temporary Protected Status, or TPS, for Haitian nationals. The co-chairs of the House Haiti Caucus, Jamaican American Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, Haitian American Sheila Sherfulus McCormick, and Massachusetts Representative Ayanna Presley issued a joint statement calling the policy reversal shameful. The lawmakers expressed concern concerned that the decision puts over 500,000 Haitian nationals in the U.S. at risk as Haiti continues to face severe violence and a humanitarian, political, and economic crisis. The policy change, announced by Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem last Thursday, overturns the Biden administration's move to extend Haiti's TPS designation by 18 months. As a result, TPS protections for Haitian nationals will end on August 3, 2025, unless further extended. Internationally, Friedrich Merz and his Christian Democratic Union, CDU, emerged victorious in Germany's national election, securing 208 seats in the Bundestag. This will position Merz to lead the country and strengthen its support for Ukraine amidst the ongoing war with Russia. He vowed to unite Europe against external pressures from both Russia and the United States. The far-right Alternative for Germany, AfD, surged to become the second largest party with 152 seats, fueled by discontent over migration and security issues. Despite its rise, Merz has ruled out forming a coalition with the AfD, which is under observation for extremism. Merz's victory came after Chancellor Olaf Scholz's government collapsed in November. He now faces the challenge of stabilizing Germany's economy and addressing the growing polarization in the country. Financial markets welcomed the election results, anticipating a more stable government. Merz emphasized the need for swift government formation, stating, quote, "The world out there isn't waiting for us," end quote, as he plans to form a coalition by Easter. His leadership will be critical in shaping Germany's future role in Europe and its relationship with global powers. And finally, in international news, on the third anniversary of Russia's invasion, Western leaders gathered in Kiev to reaffirm their support for Ukraine, pledging more military aid. The show of solidarity comes as concerns grow over U.S. President Donald Trump's approach to the war, including his calls for a peace deal and friendly stance toward Russian President Vladimir Putin. European leaders, including European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, emphasized that Ukraine must be involved in any peace talks. There are fears that Russia's successes could encourage other autocratic regimes, particularly China. The European Union introduced new sanctions on Russia, while Spain pledged a major military aid package to Ukraine. Leaders like British Prime Minister Keir Starmer and French President Emmanuel Macron are set to meet with U.S. officials amid fears that the U.S. may sideline Europe in negotiations. EU leaders will hold an emergency summit on March 6th to address the war's impact on European security. And now for the weather. Present weather is fair skies. Winds are a moderate breeze of 15 miles per hour from the east-northeast. The temperature for today is 28 degrees Celsius or 83 degrees Fahrenheit. Seas are 1.2 to 1.8 meters or 46 feet. The weather forecast for today predicts partly sunny skies with a 40% or moderate chance of a brief passing shower. Tonight will be fair to partly cloudy with a 40% or moderate chance of a brief passing overnight shower. Sunset for today will be at 6:16 p.m. and sunrise for tomorrow will be at 6:31 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your presenter, Shanique Harvey.
just about 20 minutes moving down from noon on a beautiful Monday afternoon. It is time now for Bulletin Board, and Bulletin Board is sponsored by TDC Financial Services.
ZIZ Radio now presents Bulletin Board, a look at what's happening in and around our community.
TDC Financial Services, we're here for you to help you make your dreams come true. Whether your needs are big or small, we'll support you with them all. TDC Financial Services, we are strong. TDC Financial Services, this is where you belong.
TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
We now take a look at items of general interest on Bulletin Board. The St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party constituency number 7 will be holding a branch meeting at the Estridge Primary School in Mansion from 7 in the evening on Tuesday, 25th February. All are asked to take note and to be present and on time. The Department of Marine Resources is inviting all fishers to a series of important fisher stakeholder meetings focused on the Fisheries, Aquaculture and Marine Resources Act regulations. The meetings are as follows. Bastia East and West Fishers, Monday 24th February at the Department of Agriculture St. Kitts Large Conference Room. Old Road Fishers, Tuesday 25th February, upstairs the Old Road Fisheries Complex. Sandy Point Fishers, Wednesday 26th February, in Sandy Point at the Community Center. Please note, all sessions are from 6 to 8 in the evening. These sessions will provide essential education and awareness on the draft regulations that will soon be implemented. The management and staff of the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College, CFBC, inform of the closure of the college's campuses on Tuesday, 25th February, to facilitate the commencement ceremony, which will be held at the Pro-Cathedral of St. George with St. Barnabas at 4:30 in the afternoon. Attendees are asked to be seated by 4 o'clock. The Nyabingi Theocracy Order Higher Heights Movement presents African Black History Week of activities. Tuesday, 25th February, it's a visit to the gravesite of the fallen Nyabingi brethren and sisterns of the Rastafari community at 9 in the morning. This will be followed on Wednesday, 26th February, with food hampers distribution in St. Kitts Island-wide for the elderly and the needy from 1 in the afternoon. The Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College History Club will host its annual exhibition at the college's main campus on Burden Street, Bastia, in celebration of Black History Month. The event will be held on Wednesday, 26th February, and will begin at 9:30 in the morning in the CFBC Common Room with historical exhibits. Black History Month is an annual observance that celebrates the achievements, history, and contributions of Black individuals and communities in the month of February. It is marked by events including educational programs, cultural activities, exhibitions, and much more. The government of St. Christopher and Nevis, through the Ministry of Ecclesiastical and Faith-Based Affairs, in collaboration with the church community, invites you to join in the annual National Day of Prayer on Friday, 28th February. This year's theme is Evangelize in 2025, preaching, teaching, sharing the gospel through the Word of God. Churches across the Federation will be open, and a mobile prayer unit will be covering various communities, offering prayer sessions throughout the day. A special service of prayer, worship, and exaltation will take place from 8 in the morning with the grand climax at 7 in the evening at the Pentecostal Church of God located at Boone Avenue, Bastia, and at the New Testament Church of God in Bath Village, Nevis. Everyone is encouraged to participate in this meaningful day of prayer and reflection. And that's Bulletin Board.